Good morning and welcome to Talent Treasures. This is our open gate opportunity to talk with our friends about their various Clifton Strengths 34 talent themes. And today with me is Mackenzie Wherrett, Executive Assistant at the Board of Registration of Professional Engineers and Land Surveyors, which is a wonderful organization. And welcome, Mackenzie. We're glad to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to do this.
Yeah. And so to give our folks a little background on the Clifton Strengths before we start, that is again, a profile from the Gallup Corporation that identifies 34 different talent themes. And those talent themes are things that we're kind of naturally inclined to that maybe are easy for us and things that we tend to gravitate towards throughout the course of our day. It's a little bit how our mind is wired to think. And so by focusing on our talents to use them more, those grow into bona fide strengths. And so what was so fun about you, Mackenzie, is your number one, your top talent theme is positivity. And so people that are high in the talent theme of positivity are often called lighthearted, and they tend to celebrate every achievement, and people just tend to feel good about being around somebody with positivity. So tell us a little bit, Mackenzie. How do you see that kind of in your natural day to day? How does it bubble up for you, your positivity?
I mean, I have to absolutely agree with that. The
Hmm.
lightheartedness. Often I hear, you know, butterflies and rainbows, which I enjoy that. I know not
Yeah.
everybody does, but for me, I think most of the time I wake up and it's that phrase glass half full versus half
Hmm.
empty. I wake up ready to go for the day, ready to have the best outcome possible. And I think that really just continues to keep me energized throughout the day. And I see it, people make different remarks like, oh, it's really refreshing to be around you and things like that. And it comes so naturally to me just to always see that light at the end of the tunnel where I don't even really think about it. It's just the
Yeah.
way I am.
Yeah. And did you find you were that way from a young age? Was that something or
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
always. I mean, it's a mix of things. I've heard
Hmm.
outgoing, friendly, energetic, and I think that's all a part of being a positive person. And so I definitely have heard that growing up as a little kid. Now it's just easy to me to be that way, and I
Yeah.
enjoy it. I'd rather live my life that way.
For sure. Well, and again, it brings just so much to other people too, I think. I know just being around people like yourself, you get that little spark of energy that helps, right? And the world can be a dark place sometimes. I think we need those little candles. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier the sunshine and rainbows, and so I'm wondering that maybe if you've gotten comments like that, do other people notice that? You said kind of that they do, but if you think about kind of other ways that people have noticed that talent theme, what happens, or what do you
Oh,
see?
yeah, I think about, some recent, like, culture building we've been doing,
Hmm.
and sometimes my ideas, if I put it out there, sometimes I'll hear, "Well, the sunshine and rainbows is great.
Hmm.
Is it realistic?" And in my
Hmm.
eyes, I think, "Yeah, we can get there. Of course we can." There's steps that we need to take to feel that. It doesn't literally need to be butterflies, sunshine, rainbows, but it's that feeling you get. And,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's very much noticed, whether it be something that in a work environment may be an idea or a thought that's presented, or even in my day-to-day life at home when when I'm talking to everybody, it's like I almost always have that really good day, and
Yeah.
everybody can see that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and how do you find yourself using this talent to motivate others? I mean, your role, you're kind of a touch point for everybody, I think, on the team, it would seem. And so, how do you utilize that to help others?
Well, I think most people will engage me with what they're
Hmm.
doing too, and like you said, I am an assistant, so I'm a touch point for a lot of people. But
Hmm.
they know that I am willing to listen and to give ideas to help maybe the project go in the right direction, and I'm eager to help. I want to hear. I want to help support them, and
Hmm.
so yeah, I think that it's more like they're drawn to that positivity, and
Hmm.
I'm really willing to help them. And I think that when people I mean, it's a double side of the coin
Mhm.
because I want to make sure that it's genuine. Because for me, it is coming genuine, but if some people aren't, open to it, or maybe there's a wall built up, it comes across as naive or
Mhm.
disingenuine, and so that's important to me is to build the relationship so they know this is who I am and this is what, I wanna share with you. And I think
Right.
when most people are open-minded and are willing to come forward with an issue or just a situation, I think that it normally goes well, it's motivating, it can
Right.
be.
Right. For sure. And so here's a little tougher question. So
Okay.
imagine you're faced with maybe some negativity or maybe a really difficult problem to solve. So how might you start tackling it using positivity? Like it's like, oh, seems like there's no solution.
Well, that kinda what I'm talking about with that wall being built up, it can be tough. I
Right.
think reading the room is very important for anybody, but
Hmm.
understanding the situation well,
Hmm.
asking questions, of course, being curious, and then, you kinda need to know a little bit about the person that you're having the conversation with because,
Right.
of course, if you're coming on strong, like, "We can do this is great, everything's awesome," and they're not seeing it that way, it can be tough. But
Hmm.
that leaning into that, but maybe not leaning in 100%, I think helps. And you can
Right.
build it up. You can build up that. So maybe we start the situation is really dire or there's a really difficult, it's hard to get out of. Maybe start by just, small steps to
Mm.
hey, you did a really great job on this. I could see this applied this way. And just really building up to more. And where I think that they will also build up that positivity, that emotion where, they're jumping on the bandwagon, I guess you
Right.
could say.
Right, right. Do you find that when you have to dial it back a little bit, is that difficult at all, or you just happen to be aware that you're doing that?
It's difficult. I mean, I
Mhm,
think I notice it. I do. I'm like
mhm,
thinking, okay, well, it's not being received the way I would imagine.
mhm.
Uh, but I've learned, if you come in, this is a great example. Come in early to work and maybe the lights are off and everybody's calm and it's the morning, but I'm coming in and I'm ready to go. I'm
Right.
2 cups of coffee in and ready to start my day and do a great job. Um, Easing in and maybe not having that conversation where I'm really energetic, ready to go first thing in the morning, maybe
Right.
wait, turn on the lights, wait till
Right,
everybody's
ease
warmed up
in.
and then, and I think that's been helpful too. But it is difficult because I don't like dwelling on the negative. I
Mhm,
don't really want to spend too much time in that realm. And it's
mhm.
not because it brings me down, it's because I just don't enjoy it. I
Yeah,
wanna look at where we're going and the success and how to get there, and I wanna be there. So,
yeah.
it is
Oh, that's
difficult.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that that perspective that you don't enjoy it, right? Not like it lets you don't allow it to get you down, but you're very, I think, perceptive in the way that you're describing this, right? A lot of self-awareness in what you're saying. So,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's great. And so, when we talk about Clifton Strengths, the talent themes, there's like anything, they're neutral, right? They're neither good nor bad. So our strengths can help us to do great things and be, an amazing, like you do, amazing light for other people. Sometimes our talents can also get in our way. So are there any times when you found that like real strong positivity gets in your way in anything?
Yeah. I kind of alluded to it, but
Right,
yeah, there has been times where there's, certain people just don't like it.
right.
They don't want that. They don't live in that realm where they're happy to think about the butterflies and rainbows. They
Hmm.
don't want that. And it can be off-putting to some people. And so that's where
Right.
I come back to the know your audience. And just be aware of, is this really is this getting, accepted by them? Are they hearing what I'm saying? Or are they kind of clouded by my smile and my energy? So I think it has, and most of the time, I think it's received well when you're positive,
Mhm.
and that's been definitely one of my mottos through my life. do it with a smile and,
Mhm.
be happy about it and you'll go
Mhm.
far, with kindness. But,
Yeah.
it's not always the same for everybody. And I think
Right.
when people are just, and like I said, it can be perceived like it's naive. If
Mhm.
you're going into everything with a positive outlook, well, you're not looking at the what ifs
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
where's the devil's advocate.
Right. Right. Yes, and just for discussion, the contrasting theme that I see to positivity might be what's called deliberative. And those are the folks that tend to really look at all the risk factors in a situation. So it might be the person in the meeting that's saying, well, have you thought about this? Well, this could go wrong. This might be a problem here. And so that I see as one of the opposing themes, right? But there's value to that too. So if you get
Yeah.
positivity and deliberative together, you could be a powerful team as long as you don't rub each other the wrong way, right?
Absolutely. And deliberative is pretty low for me on my Clifton
Mhm.
strengths. And
Mhm.
but like you said, it's not like I don't use that talent.
Right.
It's just not natural to me.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't come as easily. So, well, and so sometimes it can be fun to compare and contrast some different things. So deliberative is one, but another one that I wanted to share with you is analytical. So I'm going to read to you two statements and then just let's see how you reflect on that. So positivity says praise can't be overdone. So I am generous with it. Analytical says praise can be overdone. So I use it sparingly. So what do you think?
I have so many thoughts on it, Nancy. I think first, I absolutely resonate with the first statement.
Mhm.
I love positive reinforcement. I love it.
Mhm.
And it doesn't even need to be a big surprise or a party or a public thank you. Just getting the recognition of a job well done or saying, that praise just makes me feel good. Small, but positive reinforcement is big to me. So I think it could never be overdone with the thank yous and the praise.
Mhm.
But on the analytical side, I do supervise an employee who's very high on analytical.
Yeah.
And, I know him well, and I know he doesn't want to hear thank yous all the time. He doesn't want to hear, he wants me to celebrate the successes that matter to him and that
Mm.
really are important and measurable and not just a, hey, great job for getting that done on time. He
Mhm.
wants thank you so much for the hard work you've done on this project to get it done. And it
Mhm.
and he just that he's satisfied with that. He doesn't need to
Yeah.
hear it throughout the whole project.
Yeah. Well, and that's again great insight on your part, right? And as far as trying to understand what people need, because I think that's a an aspect of great leadership, right? Where we're kind of adapting our style a little bit to what people need from us. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
great navigating. Well, and then took the liberty of taking a peek again at your full report, and I looked at some of your top five, and there's a couple other interesting ones that you have. You have one, your number two talent is communication, and then your number three is adaptability. Number four is responsibility, and then you have number five, which I wanted to explore with you, which is a fun one called woo. And in the Clifton Strengths kind of definition, woo stands for winning others over. So people high in the woo talent theme are really good at making friends. I'm imagining, especially with your communication, you're probably standing in the grocery line, you'd be talking to the person in front of you and making a new friend. Does that sound familiar?
Yes. Yeah, it
And so
charges me.
right? And so I'm wondering how your positivity, and if you think about how you pair it with your woo talent, how might you see that
I mean,
play out?
they're partners, it's a
Mhm.
it's a trio. I
Mhm.
think the communication, the positivity, woo, it is who I am at my core. It just is.
Mhm.
Like you said, I love the small interactions with others. I I think about dropping off my kiddo at school in the
Mhm.
morning, and I love engaging with the parents. Other
Mhm.
parents, I walk him into class. He's a first grader, right? So I walk him
Mhm.
into class, and there's 4 or 5 different families that I always see every day.
Mhm.
And we always say hello. It feels great just to catch up, even in that short amount of time. And yeah, I'm recharged. I get to, after I drop him off and I'm saying hello to everybody, I get to turn around and go to work and feel
Mhm.
just really great. And there's a specific family friend that also has kids at the school. And it the first time I noticed, because we had to switch drop off side from kindergarten to first grade. And so I noticed that her kids are going to the same school.
Mhm.
And I remember rolling down the window, waving my hand out as I'm driving off and yelling, "Have a good day, ladies," to them.
Yeah.
And um, she told me later that it made her day and her daughter's day. And now every day when I'm leaving, I get to see
Yeah.
them and give them a hug. And it just
Yeah.
feels good that, I helped them have a better day.
Yeah. Wow. And that's such a lovely example, Mackenzie. I mean,
Thank you.
I come from the mental health field. That's my background prior to doing leadership coaching. And so I've dealt with a lot of folks that are really suffering, right, with things like depression and things that really tear people down and cause them to be sometimes in a really negative state. And you think of some folks where sometimes just a smile from a stranger saved their life, right?
Yeah. I
So,
think if everybody gave a little extra smile, the world would be a
mhm.
better place.
For sure. And you can find stories like that all over the place. And so we never know how we're impacting people. And so I think of your positivity as just that like a light, a candle, right? It moves outward from itself and it's lighting the room and you really are a light in the darkness. So
Thank
we
you.
need you. So so here's another tough question I think for someone with positivity. What are the things that people do that frustrate that talent theme?
I mean, I touched on it a little bit. I think
Right,
people who are just stuck in the muck, it's
right.
frustrating. And maybe people who don't, um, I could give and give ideas, suggestions, positive reinforcement, and it's just not being accepted. And
Mhm,
that's frustrating. I think I'm always willing to try,
mhm.
but it is hard because it's so easy for me just to say, "Come on," I wanna say, "Snap out of it."
Right,
But that's not appropriate, and that's not the right thing to
right,
do, but I wish things would, I think I wish it was quicker for some people just to say, "You
right,
know what? Yeah, this isn't gonna be forever."
right.
I mentioned earlier to you, off the record, but recently I went through some health issues, and with my family, to my other half, he was broke his leg, and that's the exact phrase I kept saying to him, to myself, to the rest of the family. I said, "This stuff isn't permanent.
Mhm.
We think 6 months from now, and things are going to be a lot better." And for me, it's easier to say that, but it's I don't want to get stuck there, and it can
Yeah,
be very frustrating when I see somebody who I just want to, why can I help you?
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and again, I think of that example I gave earlier where you're giving out to the world, right? Well, all
Yes.
of us also sometimes need our bucket filled. And so I imagine even though it comes so naturally to you, you too probably need a little positivity coming back to you
Yeah.
to fill your bucket once in a while too, even though your
Oh,
bucket's pretty
indeed.
full. You got a big bucket, maybe that's how we describe it.
Yeah, and eventually you feel like I'm giving so much, I do,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't say it's exhausting by any means, but sometimes you do just need to wind down and take a
Mhm.
moment and kind of recenter, I think, for everybody.
Right. For sure, for sure. Well, and if you think about it in the world of work and now what you might need from a manager to be successful. So what could a manager do to really fuel your positivity or allow you to express that? What kinds of things might you see a
I think
manager do?
that space,
Yeah.
space, room to be able to do that. I think again, that positive reinforcement and praise is important.
Mhm.
Just to say, hey, good job, and I appreciate you. The appreciating that, recognizing that that skill and that talent is there, and utilizing it in a way. Maybe including me in a project that might need that extra bump. I think is
Mhm.
important. Just a leader who recognizes that strength is there, and takes that and uses it really.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. Well, and as we're winding down, is there any words of encouragement that you might have for other people that share your positivity theme in their top couple?
Yeah, I think Encouragement for other people, just keep on shining. Keep on
I like
shining,
that.
be like but finding a community, I think finding the community of others who are like-minded, is helpful too because, of course,
Mhm.
it's gonna help you recharge, like we talk
For
about
sure.
filling your bucket. And then, of course, don't be afraid to use that talent to help others when they need it.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Well, Mackenzie, as I've known you, gosh, a couple of years now, and I really have appreciated you a lot and your positivity. I notice it. I noticed it right as soon as I met you, so it's very evident. And thank you again for taking time with us today. We appreciate you.
Absolutely, thank you for having me again.